We got 3, 2, 1. This is Dean with the Two Party Podcast. I'm on here with Arn Terry, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, but I can let you guys know from just what I've researched a little bit. He is a social media professional, and we were discussing a few things before we started recording live here, just about the way we cope and deal with things, especially in this day and age that we're in now. But Arn, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your story.
Yeah, Dean, first of all, gratitude and thank you very much for having me on your fantastic show. So just a quick overview. Yes, my name's Arn Terry. I am live and direct from Manchester, UK. So thank you. You are international. I'm a husband of 13 years. I'm a father of 3. And I hang around on social media. So basically, keeping it very, very simple is I help people turn a passion to profit, or a passion or a hobby to profit by using the spoken word, written word, and also motion picture, so blogging, YouTube, etc. Just helping people embrace their inner self, their hunger, the desire, the solopreneur, the entrepreneur, and just have fun. The main thing is have fun along the way with it. So that's who I am. That's what I do. But there is a bit of a backstory, which I'm sure we'll delve into as well, of how I got into that.
For sure, and I can't wait to hear your story. For one, like we were just discussing a minute ago, it's interesting. We're in a moment in society where we have everything at our fingertips. These phones right here. This thing is like a supercomputer. These phones, and we have those things with us all the time, and we have such great technology. And like we were just discussing, there's so many people that are just kind of bound down with things, but they're not aware that we are living in a day and age where we have everything we need, really. I mean, our necessities are really there. I mean, there's people struggling, but we truly have everything we need as a society at our disposal. And we have opportunities to reach across the world and speak with people. But during this whole pandemic thing, social media has gone up. Communications through social media, communications just through podcasting has doubled. I think if I remember the statistic I looked at the other day, podcasting is almost doubled. Like there's shows popping up every day, and so it's one of those things we have an opportunity to share our time, our stories. We have an opportunity to be genuine and intentional with people. Which as a busy society, we pass people daily in our walk. Before the pandemic, things in the world, the business world especially, 100 miles an hour. You may see an employee, that you work with for 10 years, and you maybe just pass them, and it's just a hi bye. Or maybe every once in a while you get a chance to work with them, but at the end of the day, we never get to have those intentional conversations. We never get to have those, never really have time it seems like, to get to know people. And the one thing I noticed that I look at as a positive out of this pandemic is that it has given people time to slow down, regroup, be with their family a little more at times, whether forced or not forced, whether you lost your job or not, you just got time to spend with your family. But it's also given us an opportunity as a society to really talk, to communicate more, and tell our story. And I, like you, I have a story as well. And my story, goes all the way back to, I've been at the top of the world multiple times and lost everything and started over. I've been in prison. I've gone through addiction, alcoholism. I've overcome all that stuff. I'm at a point now where I'm a business owner, a general contractor. I've been doing construction 27 years. I do the podcast. I do multiple things in the community, just locally. I really enjoy helping other people and doing things in my community. And that's kind of just a basic background on me. I mean, I can share experiences with almost anybody, because I've really, throughout my life and my journey, I've really put myself in places that maybe I shouldn't have been, but a lot of places that, even though I shouldn't have been there, I overcame, learned things from that, and became a better person.
Indeed, it makes you stronger, and it gives you not just the knowledge, it gives you the wisdom, to help, encourage, inspire, and to steer other people on the right direction. Because I talk about a lot, difference between knowledge and wisdom, and this is my understanding of it. Is knowledge is the theory. So you could be talking about, oh, well, if you went to prison and if you turn your life around, this is what you should do, or this is what you could do. But wisdom is, I have been through this, and this is what I've done, and this is how I've overcome, and this is how I've triumphed, and this is how I've bettered myself. So for me, and for what you've just mentioned, it's very powerful. Yes, it's not great when you've been in those certain situations.
Right. Yeah.
And you may not feel like you're going to overcome or get through it. But like you said, when you get to a certain age or certain time, you reflect, and then you think, wow, I'm grateful that has happened in my life, because it's now really made me the person who I am now today. In today's time, and like you said, you're giving back a lot, and my guess is, if you hadn't have gone through those experiences, then you may not be giving back as much, you may not be as open, in giving. I'm not saying that everyone can take it on board as much as yourself, but you're one of the lucky few, I guess, who really know yourself. And that's what I work on as well. I work on my mind, I work on my mindset, I work on positivity, and I work on, just like before we went live, like I love what you said, just helping one person, help one person.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. I just focus on helping one person. If I can help one person, that I'm happy, then I'll help one more person, then I'll help one more person.
Yeah. and that's my small goal each day is, I had another guest on, I believe it was Tuesday evening, and me and her were talking, and that's exactly what we were talking about, is like, a lot of people look at like, what is my legacy when I die? What is my legacy I'll leave behind? And what I was explaining to her, where I'm at in life right now, is what is my legacy today?
Yes.
It's so deep when you think about, like, I can think about, I'm 45 years old, and what my legacy and what my past has been, and what it's brought me to now, and how people might remember me. But how will the people I interacted with today remember me? Will my wife remember me having a good day, or will we have an argument? Will my son listen to me, or will we have an argument? So each day is an opportunity to build on my legacy on a smaller scale than to picture it as my whole life, which is, you can't control the past, you can't control the future. You can get better to make the future turn out a little different, but that's about it. So I focus on today, and I focus again on the one, if there's one person each day I can help, one person. And it can be my wife, it can be my son, it can be, I try to shoot for strangers. My wife probably don't want to hear that, but I do. I try to shoot for people I don't know that I feel are in need. And if I help one person each day, that's the minimal list I have for the day. Now, if I help 20 people today, so be it, but it's really about every day trying to make an impact in one person's life, to leave behind today's legacy for somebody to remember me by, and remember me in a light that wasn't, in a negative, totally in a positive. That's really what I'm all about. I really at this point in my life, I've lived through a lot of traumatic things, and I want, from here on out, I just want it to be good. I want it to be happy and peaceful. And it's not always, but if I can have any kind of like you said, the knowledge, the intelligence to work through these things, and have the coping skills to do so, then I have a better chance of making my life more positive each day.
Indeed. I couldn't agree more. It's 100% agree, 1000% agree. It's so true. And I'd love to talk and go a bit deeper into to my mindset as well, because that is my focus at the moment, and I believe it's the setbacks, the failures, learning from those mistakes that can actually help you become a stronger person. Because myself, from my career, I started as a recruitment consultant. So recruitment consultant, then I moved up to a senior, to a principal, to a team lead, then a manager, then corporate kind of thing, managing P&L, profit and loss, hire, fire, coach, mentor, etc., etc. But when I was on my journey as a younger recruiter, the younger version of Arn Terry in 2008, it was a massive challenge because of the global crisis, the financial crisis, the credit crunch, whatever you want to call it. So back then, I was, I think I bought my wife bought our first home, I think in 2007. Then in 2005, so we bought our first home. 2007, we got married. 2008, we had our daughter right in the middle of the credit crunch. So as you can imagine, as a recruiter, as a young recruiter, and with recruitment being sales focused and commission based, that all dried up.
Yeah,
So
sales go down, your
yeah.
income's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that you've explained it in 2 seconds. So I did what most people have been doing for time since when and back then and now due to the pandemic is I had to get a second job as well, which was a challenge. The reason why I was challenged because I was already working long hours in recruitment, 50, 55, 60 hours a week, and then I was also doing my part-time job at a supermarket, like the clothing side of it, and I was working Thursday night, Friday night at the supermarket after finishing my full-time job, and also working the Saturday, Sunday as well. So it was tough.
All over the place. Yeah. Spread real thin already.
Yeah. So I didn't have any time for myself, no time with family. I had as I believed, a nice car at the time. I had to sell that car, and I guess you guys call it what's your word for a car that's a really just a down and out car? We call it a banger in the
banger,
UK.
A banger, a hoopty. I like to call them like old school hoopties,
Hoopty. Yeah. So this car was so. I'm reliving some trauma here, by the way. So if I start crying and breaking
I'll
down,
pull you back out of it if we go too far downhill.
Yeah. So this car was so bad, the electrics went from it.
Oh no.
Yeah, and the speedometer went, so I'd literally could not
kind of guess how fast you're going.
I was looking at the revs.
Yep. See how fast it's going.
What gear it was, and I did that for a year and never got a speeding ticket, never got a fine. The window wipers went; they didn't even work as well.
You got to reach out the window and kind of do this.
Yeah. That you couldn't make it up. The indicators didn't work, so when I was indicating, I was putting my arm out of the window.
Yeah, doing the hand signals.
That obviously a different side of the road. So that and that.
Yep.
It was
I have had a few cars. Now I've owned a lot of cars, but I've had a few cars that were that just absolutely. I've had some that were on toggle switch for the blinkers, had a toggle switch to start it, and I drove this thing around like it was a nice car, and but hey, it was my car and it was my transportation, and even though I knew it was kind of a beater, it worked. It got me from point A to point B, and that was important.
Yeah, my problem was it barely did. It was like the nervousness.
You never knew if you would make it.
Yeah. It was like, is it going to make it? Is it not going to make it? It was like, boom, boom, boom. It's like all the sounds it made. It was like, oh my gosh. Luckily enough, I had a friend, the mechanic. He was like kind of kept it alive. Yeah, it's alive again. So that was the thing that I went through. I laugh about it a lot now, but with me back then, when I believed I was on the journey of a top salesperson, to getting rid of a car, then having a beta, and then also the embarrassment of me, at the time was very proud for materialistic things like that.
Yep.
So that the embarrassment, and then also the feeling like I let my family down as well because I was working constantly and doing all that. And then, it was a challenge. And then not only that as well, my wife had to go to work early.
Yeah. You're working so much and you feel like you're just not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And so, it affects your pride, your self-esteem. Yeah. One of the hardest things that took me a long time, when you mentioned material things, and then of course, everybody has a sense of, as humans, we have a sense of pride where, it's easy to say, well, what people think don't matter to me. But that's not always deep down. That's not true.
Yeah.
What people think do matter.
Yeah.
Whether we want to admit it or not.
Yeah.
And I went through the same thing with when I was younger. The material things. I mean, I've had boats, I've had cars, I've had nice motorcycles, jewelry, you name it, and lost it all, got it all back again. And that was at a time in my life where that was important.
Yeah.
And then I was always concerned how people thought of me.
Yeah.
And then I finally reached a point where I really didn't care. And unfortunately, when I reached that point is probably when I really started spiraling out of control, is because once I didn't care what people thought, it didn't matter anymore what I was doing, Indeed. So it was very difficult, but that pride, you want to be able to support your family. You want to be able to have a decent car, a house. I mean, those are all things as humans we not just want, but we deserve. We have
Absolutely,
the right to.
and I 100% agree. Like what you're saying, I'm just smiling. I can't get a smile on my face. It's 100%. I think we all deserve to have the best in life.
Yep.
If we believe that in ourselves as well, I think we deserve to have the best life possible because we're on this planet only once.
Yeah.
And it is a material world, but it's kind of what values you put on it. For value's sake, back then I had a different kind of meaning to material things where it was like, yeah, I want this, I want that, I want that. Yeah. But now, yes, I'm not saying I'll live in a straw house or anything like that. I've got a nice house, but I've got a different level of respect, if that makes sense. For what I own, what I have, and what I've got, and what I will have.
It's where you almost change your priorities, when you take the material things and you bump them down the list a little bit. And it becomes, family first. It becomes, if I have a house, I have a car, and I have good income, if I start to spend my income better, then that starts making other things happen and open more doors. Yeah, it's all in that mindset. It's all a lot of it's perception. A lot of people don't realize there's a lot of different perceptions. You could perceive things as a bad thing or perceive it as a good thing. It's really how you're looking at life.
Yeah, and again, touching on the word mindset, one thing that I posted recently, I think it was on Instagram, or one of the posts is how I deal now of myself in the now mindset. I don't know if you're a Marvel fan or not, but I talked about having my mindset wrapped in vibranium. Okay. So vibranium is a sort of a metal alloy, which Black Panther actually used on his suit, and it basically repels vibration. So I do a lot of kind of visualization in terms of my mindset, so I can visualize my mindset being there, visualize it being bonded with vibranium, pretty much like Wolverine's skeleton was bonded with adamantium, but I'm using it on my mindset that anything negative that comes to me
repels.
Exactly. Yes, I absorb it, like you said, because if people, it's difficult to deal with negativity. So I'll still take it on board, but then it gets repelled. I don't keep it. It doesn't stay with me.
Yes. I feel like exactly what you're saying. I feel like if we lived in a world that had no negative, which would be great, I would love it. However, I think if we had no negative and nothing that challenged us, it kind of takes away, I guess, our opportunity to learn. So while we don't want negative in our life, and we definitely don't want to dwell on it and keep it, we want to get rid of it. But I think it's really important that if we never had to face negative challenges, and we never had to, if I hadn't had to overcome the things I have overcome in my life, I wouldn't be who I am today.
Indeed.
And so it's very profound to say, it'd be great to live in a world that's completely positive and ice cream and bubble gums and rainbows everywhere. But let's be real. If it was like that, it would be a different mindset. We would definitely be a different society in many ways, which could be good, could be bad. But I don't think we'd learn. I don't think we'd learn and grow.
I was going to say that. Yeah, we wouldn't, because you just, the unfortunate thing is, if, everything, learning's painful, or growth is painful, or birth is painful.
The best lessons need to be painful sometimes.
Painful, yeah, and I don't want to get to Mother Earth kind of thing, but if you think about it, we all came into this world, unfortunately, through our mother's pain, which was giving birth, and that is something that's so powerful. So when I think about when you're starting a business or you're starting something new, you're giving birth to something. So unfortunately, it just seems like that's what happens on this planet. Something new's happened, or you're being challenged in a way. You go through the pain or the hero's journey, or whatever you want to call it, to succeed. So it's a massive challenge. But I think when you mentioned bubblegum and ice cream and stuff like that, I don't know why, but the film Demolition Man came to my thought. I don't know if you've seen that film or not. With it's one of my favorite films.
Yep. And the original or the remake?
It Is there a remake?
There's
Demolition
two
Man.
of them. There's the original one
Really?
and the remake. Yes.
No, I only know
now
the original.
You're gonna have to go watch it.
I'm gonna have to know the original Demolition Man
yep.
with Stallone
Yep.
and Sandra Bullock.
Yep.
Greetings and salutations.
Uh-huh.
It was like pretty much like social distancing, actually, where they couldn't touch each other. No physical contact.
It's what our world's becoming now.
But yeah, just like with in the scene or the setting, that like I said, there was all
everybody lived the same.
But then when the tiny bit of when Wesley Snipes came into it, actually, there was a tiny bit of kind of anarchy. And in fact, from chest memory, Edgar Friendly, they were the rebels underground. But no one knew how to fight. And I just remember that scene where they tried to apprehend Wesley Snipes, and it was like looking at the handheld like terminal or whatever, was how to tell someone,
trying to get instructions on how to get it. And it's like, it blows your mind. It's like, because honestly, I don't know. I mean, if that was, it's kind of like that's what it would be like. So if we never had anything to challenge us, it would be just kind of like, oh, well, how do you deal with this little bit of trouble? Or something gets a little bit out of whack, the whole community falls apart.
Yeah. You do need, unfortunately, you do need challenges. You do need failures, because of one, if you are being challenged, if you have failed, it basically helps you to innovate. It helps you to do something better.
Yes.
And also it helps you to become a problem solver and to solve other people's problems as well. So anyone could be, for example, if been to prison, for example, just using yours, you could go and speak to people to reform themselves, get back on track, and this is how you do it. So one person's kind of on the wrong path, going on the right path, can actually help just one person to tens, to thousands, to tens of thousands of people. So we do need to be pushed and struggled in that as well, which is just one of those things which is a bit of a shame as well, because when you think about the blues, going to music, and black people being oppressed and stuff like that a lot of the music, a lot of the pain came from that.
Comes right out of the I'm a big blues fan. It's funny you mentioned that, because I'm a huge blues fan.
Oh wow, really?
yes. And my mother, when I was very young, my birthday's on February 11th, which just happens to coincide with BB King's birthday.
Right. Wow.
And my mother used to take me to his concerts. When she had the money, she would take me to his concerts every February 11th. We'd have a concert booked either before or after on his birthday. We'd go see we'd go see a show with BB King. And so we got to see, I got to see some of the greats before they passed away, Muddy Waters, and a lot of the good ones. And you're correct that the blues is kind of I guess the newer generations, I feel bad for them, because they've lost on what the emotional ties to that music really is. Because and it's funny too, I had a dentist, Willie Lomax in the Blues Review. He was my dentist of all things when I was going in high school. And that's what he did as a side gig. He was a dentist, but he hated being a dentist and he wanted to be a musician, and he started his own blues band, Willie Lomax and the Blues Review. He's been on, Johnny Carson and all over the place. But we used to go see him all the time, and he really got me into it even more, because he would bring a lot of guest appearances of some really good blues artists.
Oh wow!
Just amazing opportunity. It's funny you mentioned that, but the emotions you get out of that music is just something. I feel bad, because I feel like each generation seems to lose a little bit, and maybe it's just the way I hold on to what I grew up with, but. As the world changes, I'm like, man, we're losing a lot of good heritage and tradition and culture that's either being pushed aside or not being embraced.
Yeah, my take on that is it'll come back. A lot of this stuff comes back.
Yeah, always circle.
Just like classical music, the way it was dead. No one was listening to classical music, but now it's come back so much. Now it's come back with a bang. And I think it'll come back again, because I always say it to my wife. Actually, said you never really hear a saxophone in any music nowadays. It's
real instruments at all.
Yeah, exactly. So where's the saxophone? But it will come back. I think they've just got the time and place for it, and it will be dormant, unfortunately, for a period of time, and then it will come back, and then people will be like, oh yeah, I've got this new sound, and then, no, it's not a new sound.
It's not new. I heard that 20 years ago.
Year ago, yeah. So that's my take with music, and pretty much a lot of stuff as well. You can speak about fashion as well, and I think, and going back to what we were talking about, the mindset of it as well. It's what I think drives people to be better when you're going through the pain, when you're going through the struggle. It gives people that determination or that laser focus or being compelled to do something better. Or you look at your parents and they've gone through a journey, a challenge. They've gone, they've had the stuff kicked out of them, and they're just basically, you just want to do better for your family, or get your next generation out of that situation. So I think if we didn't have that, we would just be plateauing and just playing it safe constantly.
I mean, it's challenges can be hard, but we've got to have them. They help us grow. And then at the same time, what I was thinking while we were discussing that is, there's been points in my life where I guess I became complacent, and I just kind of sat back and just kind of enjoyed what I had, or just kind of didn't, I guess for lack of a better term, just really didn't want to do anything. Just I had what I needed at the moment.
Yeah.
And what's difficult is a lot of times that's a start, a red flag for a bad pattern coming. Because if you don't also challenge, it's not about the challenges coming at you, but also challenging yourself, stepping out of your comfort zone and saying, this is something I don't think I can do, but you know what, I'm going to try.
Indeed.
And that's something I've done a lot, especially in the past, say 10 years. I've really pushed myself to do a lot of things that I thought I couldn't do, a lot of things I didn't know I was capable of doing. And I think that's important too, is not just being able to cope with and deal with challenges and learn from them, but also to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations sometimes.
Indeed,
not in an unhealthy way, but in a healthy way.
Yeah.
To grow from things that we maybe wouldn't experience in our normal life.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to be putting ourselves in the, in a pond full of crocodiles or gators or anything like that. But yeah, just challenging ourselves. So say, for example, if you had a great voice and people are saying you need to do something with that voice, it's powerful. It can help people. It's calming, it's soothing, it's up tempo, whatever it is, and you're too scared or too afraid to do it. Then that's putting yourself in an uncomfortable position. Do you know what? Just go onto YouTube, set your YouTube channel up and just record and just sing to anything, art. It could be anything. And that's what I talk about. I talk about people's passion. I talk about people's hobby, and I talk about how you can make a profit from your passion or hobby just by using, the spoken word, written word, etc. So that's what I focus on, just helping one person, then I'll help another person, then another person. Because we've only got one life on this earth, so we need to triumph and be the best version of ourselves. And like you said, just keep pushing, keep challenging ourselves in more ways than one. Like for myself personally, it's my mind, it's my mindset, it's learning on various books on my mind, how to be positive, how to keep the positivity, but also how to, like you said, stay in the present. It's being conscious of the present. For me, it's super, super hard because my mind races all over the place. Oh, this happened last week or 2 years ago or 5 years ago. And it's like, no, bring it back to the present. But I think that's really important. Once you can hear that inner voice and then you control your thoughts, because that's what I keep saying as well. I'm teaching people is, you control your thoughts. Your thoughts do not control you. Once you get that negative thought or emotion into your head, it's like, thank you very much, but off you pop. I'm in control. I'm in control. So that's what I focus on as well. And I've got some interesting stuff going on, for 2021, which is going to put me in a great uncomfortable position, which I'm working in my lab.
I like that. That's a great uncomfortable position. I like that.
Yeah,
that's a great term. That's a great term.
Yeah. I've been doing a few other things as well, like the passion to profit, which I've been doing as well. And my background is recruitment, so I'm actually looking to create another course as well, to help people 100% get into recruitment, and how to go from zero to £120,000 turnover in
Right.
12 months. And that could be, for example, you mentioned the dentist. If you hated being a dentist and that was your passion anymore, and you didn't have the experience to play blues or an instrument, or you're just one of these people where you just thought, I don't know what else I can do.
Right.
It could be recruitment, because people think, recruitment, no, it's selling, it's this and that. It's not. It's just having a conversation. You literally have a conversation. So the thing is, and I'm glad actually you mentioned dentists, actually, because it gives us a good topic of conversation. So say, for example, you're a dentist and you want to go into recruitment. Who do you know? Or you should know a lot of dentists.
Right.
What do you know? You should know a lot of the dental practice across the state, across the county, or whatever it is. So all you'll do is you write down 50 different dentists, or 100, or how many you can write down, and you write down as many dentists that you know about, and then you have a conversation with those dentists, or vice versa, or the companies, and you say, hey, are you interested in looking for a new role? I may know a company that's looking. No, I'm not. And you get the no's. I'm going to keep it, very, very real. Out of those 50 people that you might speak to, maybe only 10 are looking for a role. Then you say, I may have a position for you. And then you get the resume, and you speak to the 50 different dentists out there, around wherever state it is. And then again, out of those 50, maybe only 5 may say yeah.
Right.
And you get their resume, you send them over to the dentist. Obviously, there's a bit more work around that because you have to set up your recruitment business, you have to get your insurance, etc., etc. But keeping the numbers basic, say, for example, the salary was $50,000 and you charge 20% fee when that person starts, that's $10,000 for one placement. So it's just getting people to think slightly differently, that you could basically start your own recruitment practice from the profession that you are in.
Right. Right.
So
I'm in, like I said, I'm in construction. I'm a general contractor here, and I've been doing it 27 years. I'm getting old and I'm tired. And I don't like having to go in the field as often as I do. And there's multiple companies out there that do, there's several of them that basically that's what they do. They kind of recruit, they reach out to different contractors in one area or one city, and they say, well, can you bid on these jobs? And then they take a percentage, and it's like, and I've had those companies reach out to me, and I'm like, why would I pay you to get that work when I could just go to that person and just hire them, or they can hire me. And my wife has said it even in the past. She's like, you are so good at sales and you are so good at construction. Why are we not doing that? Why are we not referring people, and making a percentage off of that? And so she's like, if you want out of the physical side of it, she goes, why don't you just start doing a referral company? Yeah. And I was like, well, that's a good idea. And we do there's a few contractors I work with that we do kind of do that. They throw me a couple $100 here and there when I throw them work. But it's funny because she's like, that's going to be your only out. If you stay with construction, she goes, that's your only way of getting out of the field.
Well, there's a few other things that if we was having a coaching call, I would be talking about. You could actually be a consultant, maybe for those construction companies on how to hire, or what kind of talent they should be hiring. And so you could be a consultant on talent attraction or talent retention. What made you stay in the field, or what made you do this? Because you've got the best ear and eye, because that's your experience. You are literally not an expert, you're a master, you're a Jedi. And what you do. So it could actually be a consultant going and speaking to those companies and introducing your services on what kind of people they can do and hire. Or it can also be setting up an online course. So someone like me, say if I was a young kid and I wanted to get into your line of work in your field, you could literally set up a course saying, this is the structure you need to go down. This is the course that you may need to, or this is the qualification that you need to get, or this is, you start driving X, or you start doing Y, and your course could be, again, you put a value on it, $17, $57, $557, whatever price you put on it, and then you get that course, and you basically start pushing that course out to your network. So that's what I teach as well and coach. So, for example, you would grow your Facebook group with multiple people who are, you know, trying to get to your level.
Yeah.
And then you sell that course to them saying, these are the steps how to get to that level.
Yeah.
So there's different avenues you can go into. It's really fascinating once you kind of adopt and you utilize social media in the right way.
Right.
There's loads of different ways you can make money from it. There's just another podcast show that was on recently, and I think it was talking about people. What is it now? People working in bars, losing their jobs. And I was saying, well, if you were someone who was a great mixologist, if he was great at making cocktails, and all the bars are shut, because obviously, you know, they're open, they're closed, they're open, especially in the UK. So it's like, well, what that person could do is set up a YouTube channel and literally just get different kinds of cocktails and do courses
and show people,
how to do it, and then build up the following. And they could do bits of stuff like that for free, but then on their YouTube comment, they could put like a link there saying, if you want the full course, go to this site,
right?
And that site could cost you $7, you know.
Boy, there would be a lot of drunk people on that YouTube. People just putting them back.
Exactly. Because
but it would work.
It would work as well, because I love an espresso martini. It's one of my favorite cocktails. That, and well, I love a lot of alcohol. Manhattan to Sazerac. I could keep talking, but one of my favorites is a espresso martini. So we're just like, you know what? Yeah, I'll just go onto YouTube. I'll find out the ingredients to get. I'll show what, you know, and the thing is as well, and I show people how to become like an affiliate as well. So like you would, the products that you would get is like, well, I haven't got the shake, I haven't got this, and then you sign up to be an Amazon affiliate or an associate, and then you put a link there, so anyone who buys that product through your link, you get a bit of a kickback from it,
right?
So yeah, it's just these things, and I hope, you know, people listening to your podcast, you know, who are just feeling a bit down, like they don't know what they're doing, they don't know where they can get to. It's just having the pivot and having that thing about what can I do, and hopefully, as we agreed on, and both agreed on, is hopefully this just help at least one person that that can do something very quickly to start earning. Again, it's not going to be life changing, not at the beginning, but at least.
But it can be, I mean, you can open the door for a full career. You can open the door for having your own business started off of that. You know, in the middle of the pandemic, you got so many people that are laid off, or people that are just struggling with income, period, and you know, maybe even their hours are cut down to nothing. Just any kind of income, any kind of supplemental income is great. And so to do something like that is awesome. I'll be honest with you. Our YouTube page, boo, you know, it's just, I've not, no matter how much I push it, and even with paid advertising, we haven't been able to get enough. People just don't want to subscribe. We have tons of people that listen, tons of views, but we don't get enough people that really just want to commit to subscribing. And I find that to be kind of a challenging thing with that platform. Instagram's another one that kind of challenges me. While we get 1 million people that'll come on and look at stuff, interact, send messages, we don't get enough of the follows and stuff, which, you know, that's not really that important unless you're really keeping track of the analytical. But then on the Facebook page, saying kind of the same thing, we get a lot of hits on the Facebook page, but the numbers never really go. I think we're up to like 1,600. But then there was a while back, I did a post it was just some random, like, I don't even know. I was doing like a news update, just something random. I got 34,000 hits in one day.
Oh, wow.
Like views, like everybody watched this one video, and it was like when I say it was nothing, it was nothing. And I'm like, well, how come all the good stuff never gets anything, and then this one stupid little video got 34,000? You know, like, did I say something really cool there or something? So, you know, I'm not, you know, I have a degree in computer engineering. I can build you a computer, I can set it up, I can make it do all kinds of custom stuff, but I can't figure out, for the life of me, I'm just not that great at that stuff. I'm not great at building websites. I'm not, there's just a few things I can admit I'm not that great at. But as far as like the social media stuff, like what you do, marketing and stuff, like that's just where like I try to wrap my head around, like, what am I doing wrong? You know, is it my keywords? Is it my SEO? What am I doing that's just not hitting right with people?
Yeah. So what I would say for that, well, you've mentioned a few things, but you've obviously gone and had a look through it. I would personally go and look for a professional company just to have a consultation with. The Hoff seems to be a good one out there.
Yeah.
HOTH, and just have a consultation with them and see. But personally, I would go back, and I'm sure you're doing this anyway, is every video that you put in on there at the beginning or at the end of it, just saying, please like, give it a thumbs up. And then also I've got my daughter coming through. Come and sit here. Come and sit down. Dad is being interviewed. That is being interviewed, and you're just taking my time up now.
Are you having a great day?
You having a good day?
You having a good day? Yeah?
Right. Go to mummy. We've just been hijacked.
That's fine. That is actually pretty awesome.
Right. Oh, you're staying there then? Okay, I'll carry on. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought now. So yeah, what I'd be saying is,
as far as the YouTube stuff,
yeah, and then on YouTube, at the beginning or end, just make sure you're saying, please give it a like, please subscribe to this channel, and then on the written word as well, when you're putting down on the messages on there. I would also put on there, do give it a like. Sorry, my daughter's literally singing here. I love
it. You got a future movie star here.
I know. I'm sorry about this. I'm probably gonna have to edit this out. But give me 1 second.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. I'm gonna stop recording.